So the Chargers racing experience, this one's going to be 10 minutes plus 2 laps, and this is how they'll roll off. Abby Johnson and Billy Lee make up the front row, a pair of Florida drivers. Then Anthony Shelnutt from Hamilton, Georgia rolls off third. Will Franklin in that fourth spot. Then Allie Johnson, Aiden Carmichael, and Riley Hutchins going to round out this 7-car field in the Chargers division. The last 2 drivers to capture a checkered flag, actually all the drivers to capture a checkered flag in this Chargers division, none of those racing in this race. So we will have a new winner tonight for the Chargers, whether that be Abby Johnson, Billy Lee. Those 2 have been competitive all season. We're going to find out in 10 minutes and 2 laps. Lights are out on the pace car as they creep their way down the back straightaway.
Feature racing set to kick off here for round 6 of Thursday Thunder action. Rags drop, green flag is in the air. We are underway.
9-car of Abby Johnson jumps out to a lead right there. Gets a pretty big advantage over Billy Lee in the 08. Now behind them, 2 wide entering turn number 3. That's all going to work out for the 9-car. That's Will Franklin that got the 3rd spot. Now another 2 wide dive off into turn number 1.
They'll try and stay tucked to the white line in the bottom of turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. The driver who does that best is typically the driver that parks it in victory lane, as out front right now. The 9X of Abby Johnson leads this one back here to the stripe. Again, it's not about laps in this one, it's about a scheduled time distance. And we are approaching, clicking off the first minute. What does that come out to? It comes out to about 3 laps around this tight quarter-mile Thunder ring.
And the incentive of this timed race, obviously, with these Chargers being the youngest legend car racers we have here, and no points being awarded, is so that they can get laps. So if they race like this and don't cause incidents, don't bring out the yellow flag, they have the potential for about 30 laps, give or take. And that's really what it's for, is so these guys can just get some laps underneath them, feel the car, see what the car can do. Like I mentioned, no points being awarded is just for a trophy in this Chargers division. And right now, Abby Johnson out front over Billy Lee, trying to capture that trophy.
Car spins in turns 3 and 4, and it looks like it's the 00 of Riley Hutchins that puts us under yellow for the first time here in this Chargers division. As Ryan was just talking about, when it comes to time, the clock does not stop under yellow. We continue to roll here as we've clicked off 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Once we reach that 10-minute mark, we'll add 2 laps to the board. But that 00 of Riley Hutchins around sits 7th place. Before that was running around 5th. Hopefully she can get that car back refired, turn around, and can continue on as we stay under yellow here in our Chargers racing experience.
And here's going to be a bit of a replay for you on your screen. And there goes the 00 of Hutchins around. This season for Hutchins has a win. Came in the Outlaws division back in round 4 of Thursday Thunder. So explains why she's in the Charger Legend car. The Outlaw is a Bandolero. So making that leap up to a Legend car requires the Charger division. That is what Riley Hutchins is doing. Obviously did not want to be backwards in turn number 3 in this Chargers racing experience, but 7 race cars, plenty of time to get back up through the field once she gets that thing refired and joins the tail end. Because she was the cause of the yellow flag, she will be going to the tail end of this 7-car field.
You see she'll get a little bit of a push there, trying to get that car back refired. No luck just yet. Here comes the track crew coming to talk to her, and cars will stop on the back stretches. Want to avoid any trouble at the front of this field working by, so they'll come to a stop. You see track officials talking to Riley Hutchins. Track crew trying to push this car or get it back refired. Still no luck there as the field works around under yellow. Coming up on 5 of the scheduled 10 minutes we'll run here in the Chargers racing experience. Riley Hutchins having trouble getting that car rolling here. Maybe this time. Nope, car's going to come to a stop once again. We'll see how long it's going to take for these guys to get that car rolling. Perhaps another push at it here. It appears the push is just going to be back to the pit area. As you see the rest of the field rolling by here out front, the 9 of Abby Johnson and the 08 of Billy Lee. Those are your front 2. We are coming to the green this time per race control. Single file restarts here in this Chargers division.
Lights out on the pace car, going to pull off turn number 4, and it's going to set the field to the attention of Abby Johnson. Green flag back in the air. 6 minutes unofficially in the Chargers racing experience. Billy Lee trying to get a run on Abby Johnson, get around that 9 car. Stays tucked up quite nicely down the back straightaway into turn number 3, not close enough to make a move.
Across the stripe, approaching the 7-minute mark here. Abby Johnson trying to hold on to that lead over the 08 of Billy Lee. Those 2 drivers duking it out here towards the conclusion of this Chargers racing experience. They come back across the stripe. Abby Johnson continues to lead over Billy Lee, Will Franklin, and Allie Johnson.
So the 00 of Riley Hutchins has rejoined the field. Going to see her on the speed cam right there, crossing the start-finish line. So still getting some laps in that Legend race car, what this Charger division is all about. Coming up on 7 minutes, however, out front, nothing much changed. Abby Johnson in the 9 car, still pulling Billy Lee along the Speedway. Those 2 a bit of a breakaway. The car behind them is the 9 of Will Franklin. Franklin's going to be followed by the 75 of Allie Johnson. And Anthony Shelnutt, Aiden Carmichael, and Riley Hutchins, the 7-car field.
At the start of this event, Abby Johnson was able to pull away and get a lead, and he has not been able to stretch that lead since the caution. A car length separates our race leaders. Abby Johnson going to work down across that white line. The 08 of Billy Lee a little bit above that line as they work down the back stretch and into turns 3 and 4.
About 2 minutes and 2 laps left here in the Chargers racing experience. Abby Johnson out front, Billy Lee behind. These cars closing ever so slightly on the 00 of Riley Hutchins. Hutchins not as experienced in this Legend car, could come into play. A little bit of lap traffic, not something Abby Johnson in the 9 wants to see, but probably welcomed by the 08 of Billy Lee.
9 of Abby Johnson just trying not to make a mistake towards the conclusion of this one. If you slip up now and you make a mistake this late in the race, it will swing the door wide open for the 08 of Billy Lee. Billy Lee preying on the downfall of that 9 of Abby Johnson, as I believe that's going to be the way the 08 of Billy Lee is going to get past that driver. But so far in this one, Abby Johnson driving a smooth race.
Johnson looks to be pulling away just a little bit from Billy Lee. Lee staying in the tire tracks, but just more effective. The 9 car out front, about a car length and a half on the straightaways. See the shot into turn number 3, a bit of a lower exit point on the corner there for Billy Lee. Closes up on the back bumper, going to get a good run here off of turn number 4. And Billy Lee going to be as close as he's been all race as we have a spin in turn number 2. That's going to bring out the caution on the racetrack. Looks like the 17 of Aiden Carmichael. The car around, and now an opportunity for Billy Lee. He's been behind Abby Johnson all race long. We are going to have a restart. As we learned this weekend, restarts can change everything.
Yeah, no doubt about that. As a 17 car, fortunately, is able to get that car swung back around and onto the front stretch here, and we're hearing that the team of the 00 of Riley Hutchins is requesting that she make her way back to the hot pit. That's where they can work on this car and try and get it set back up. Not the round that the 08, the 00 Riley Hutchins is wanting here. As we look at a replay, you see right there towards the middle of your screen, that car spins in the middle of turns 3 and 4. The 17 of Aiden Carmichael brings out our second yellow here in our Chargers racing experience. Right there. He just steps out and brings out our second caution here at the Thunder Room.
Abby Johnson in the 9 gets to the cones, fires off, green flag in the air, and a big jump over the 08 of Billy Lee. Lee, a bit of a higher entry into corner number 1, going to try to get a run down the back straightaway. Not going to gain enough ground to make a move on the 9 of Abby Johnson.
2 to go at the stripe this time by for Abby Johnson. He's got to hold off the 08 of Billy Lee for just 2 more laps off the exit of turn 2 down the backstretch. Will stretch that lead to about 2.5 car lengths. Like a rubber band, the 08 of Billy Lee closes it right back up. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go.
The 08 was quick to the throttle in the middle of the corner. Young drivers could make a diving attempt into corner number 3. It has to be set up right here, though. The 9 gets a good exit. Here's the move opportunity. Billy Lee closes way up, contact. The 08 gets loose, not going to change anything out front. Coming to checkers, the 9 of Abby Johnson wins the Charger Racing Experience. So that 9 car of Abby Johnson, first win this season for Abby Johnson in the Chargers division. A new winner to make his way to the Atlanta Motor Speedway victory lane. A couple weeks ago, we saw some new winners have trouble finding their way, so we'll see how that 9 car handles it. Makes the right-hand turn, about to go behind the pit wall. And you saw that last dive there by Billy Lee. Got the bumper to the rear of Abby Johnson's 9 car, but in the process, Billy himself got loose. Wasn't able to make anything of a run off of turn number 4. Still came home in second, so a respectable day for the 08 car. Will Franklin, Allie Johnson, and Anthony Shelnutt round out the top 5 as Abby Johnson makes his way to Atlanta Motor Speedway victory lane.